Hey, happy Friday. I know you're feeling blessed and refreshed. I'm back. We got another one. And today, as you can see by the title, we're talking about 8 things that we should stop buying in 2023. We want to save not only hundreds, not only thousands, but millions of dollars if we can. And mostly those investments are going to come from small businesses or making investments in things like stocks or properties or things like that. So, number one on the list is going out to eat. Going out to eat is going to keep us broke every single time. We should go to the grocery store. Before we go to the grocery store, we should write a list and try to stick to that list while we're at the store. And then we're going to cook. Now, some of us know how to cook and some of us don't. I was one of those people where I didn't really know what I was doing besides some bacon and eggs. But looking at YouTube and looking at different recipes and things like that, I learned how to cook. Also, learning from other people taught me as well. So that's the number one way that you're going to save money in 2023 is just to spend maybe $100, $200 a month, just depending on how big your family is at the grocery store. And that food is going to last you a month and a half, or even longer. Otherwise, you're looking at spending maybe $200 or $300 a month going out to eat for you and your family. Maybe it's just you and your spouse, but of course you probably want to buy the good stuff. You might be want something to drink while you're there and things like that. So all those things are going to add up. So, we should just invest in cooking classes or investing our time into learning how to cook certain things. Um, if we look at going out to eat with friends, and just socializing and things like that, that is going to become very excessive, especially if we're eating out 3 to 4 times a week. I think personally that's way too much. Number two, lottery tickets. Lottery tickets are a trap, y'all. We are just not going to win. And no matter how many dollars or $2 or $5 you spend, you're not going to make enough money by winning the lottery enough to take care of your family and be able to just quit your job and just live. Most of us would decide that if we did win the lottery, we probably would still keep our job just because, we've been through that or we know better than to put all of our chances into this money from the lottery. So it's actually 300 million to one is the chances of winning the lottery. The odds are just against us. If you drop $5 or $10 once, maybe once a week, and then you're going to say, okay, I got a little bit more money to spend this time. I'm going to spend another $5 or $10, and then you start doing that over and over and over again. Imagine how much money you're going to spend throughout this year. Maybe we should redirect, redirect that money somewhere else, or maybe even investing it so that we don't have to even be tempted to spend it on lottery tickets. Number three, excessive traveling. A lot of us travel 5, 6, 7 times a year. The problem is we are not traveling with our money that we've saved from our businesses or our investments and things like that. We're spending the money that we use right now. That's called active income. So, how are we using this check and last month's check added together in order to go on this trip? That just doesn't make sense. And at some point, um, if you've done it so many times, you're going to be like, oh man, think about how much money you've spent. Even me going up and down the highway, maybe to visit family, I have to do that very carefully. So if you're thinking about going to places like cruises or the Bahamas and things like that, just think about, do you really have the extra money to spend? Um, Also, thinking about the fact that a lot of the times, we could think outside the box and we can make that romantic getaway right at our home or right outside of our backyards. So maybe take that money from 5 vacations and save it so that you can have more money and more things to do for 2 vacations a year instead of 5 or 7. I think we're on number four, bank fees. The bank fees are adding up. There's no reason that we should have to pay bank fees because there's a lot of different options out there for free banking. You would have to check into it yourself, but a lot of the credit unions offer free banking, whereas most high end banks are requesting a monthly maintenance fee. They're requesting overdraft fees if you overdraft. But, at some point, you should be on a budget to where you shouldn't even have to worry about overdrafting. And then the ATM fees. ATM fees really eat us up. And a lot of times we don't realize it. But just taking the time to actually go to that bank or go to that credit union to get our money out is going to save us from going to the bank and spending that extra money. Also, think about check cashing fees. A lot of us, me included, have been years and years without a bank account just because, whatever reason, we didn't want a bank account, or maybe we weren't allowed to or couldn't or whatever. Think about how many times you gotten paid and you had to go take that check to a check cashing place for them to cash it. And now they're charging you so much of a percentage of that check to cash it. That's money that could went in your pocket. So, and if you think about it as well, those check cashing places are never in a wealthy neighborhood. They're always at low income locations. Number five, I think we're on number five. Buying designer clothes, shoes, bags, and things like that. If you have the job, if you have the income, you have the savings, and you got your life planned out, and you're doing the thing to do the thing. I'm not being no hater, but for those of us like me who don't actually have that extra money to even keep our kids looking nice most of the time, to decide that I'm going to go buy me a Louis Vuitton purse today is not very smart. So, instead of making somebody else rich, think about all those high end designers, Fendi, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all those people are already rich. You might feel good because you went out and bought yourself something nice and now your shoes match your bag and it matches your outfit. Everything is Gucci. But um but the fact that we don't really have any money put away in order to fall back on if something happens is kind of pointless to have those nice clothes on it in a moment of despair. Six, cars. If we are buying cars that we can't afford, we're buying cars because of their status. They're brand new. They're 2023. They're 2022. If you think about it, it keeps us poor and it keeps us broke. Even if we did use our savings account, use our money from our small businesses or from our assets or our investments or our stocks to pay for this vehicle, you're still taking money away from a just in case type of thing. What if something happened? So, just because you want the status of having that brand new car doesn't mean that you know that we can actually really depend on that brand new car. There's still high insurance. There's high car payments. There's high parts if something happens, things like that. So while you want to spend maybe 50,000 to 100,000 to get a brand spanking new car, you could spend between 5,000 and 10,000 and get a car that's pretty reliable and probably pay it off a lot sooner. So, yeah, number seven, homes. A lot of us purchase homes, go out and try to buy a home that we really can't afford. And then we end up maybe being foreclosed on that home, having to leave that home. And then all that money that you just put into that home is now been wasted. Now you have to start all over again because we went into it with our active income. We didn't go into it with any savings. We just assumed that, this is what I want. I have enough money right now. I'm going to go ahead and do it, not really thinking about the future. If you haven't been on your job for quite a few years, if you're not making a steady pay raise every year, if you're not, going to work like you're supposed to, being dependable, then how can you expect to go and make a huge life decision like that with your family, not really knowing what could happen? So um, just think about the fact that the last 2 or 3 years, the prices for the homes and even rent has just went crazy, went through the roof. So, you know, trying to sacrifice for a house and going outside of our budget, we're just going to continue to struggle. The house might be really nice, but remember, there's still liability if you live there. There's maintenance fees, there's mortgage property fees, there's interest fees, there's property taxes, insurance, and all that good stuff. So while we can have a house that looks rich, it'll keep us poor. And number eight is very simple, but very true. Coffee. Yes, I said it, coffee, y'all. If you look at it, $2.49 for a coffee 5 days a week. And if you're going to Starbucks, it's probably more than that. It's going to equal about $11.50, just average rounded off per week, right? Okay, that doesn't sound like a lot, but then multiply that by 52 weeks, which is in the year. You now spent over $500 for a cup of coffee for 5 days a week. Is it really worth it? So, hopefully, this video encourages you to look at things at a different perspective. And please don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. That's it. That's all. As always, remember, be true to yourself. Because if you can't be true to yourself, you can't be true to nobody else. Bye bye.